Good evening, Wanderers. Welcome to the Wondering Hour with Mom and Dad, a cozy corner of the night where your questions drift in like lanterns and together we follow wherever they glow.
Awesome. I'm excited to be back. Jumping right into it, our first question this week is, do you like watching reruns? And I'm excited to answer it because I think, especially here, but more often so in our lives, we make a lot of references to things that we have watched, things that we have seen, things that we have come across, or our kids say, whatever. But you don't get all of those little references without watching a lot of reruns and a lot of content that we enjoy a lot of times.
Yes.
So I love a good rerun. I am always looking to rewatch the same things in my life.
Yeah.
I am very rarely in a mental space where I'm like, sure, I want to tackle something new today.
Yeah, we definitely have our shows, but yeah, it's we had found out some information recently that children generally like to watch the same thing over and over again because that's one like kind of constant. It's something that they can watch and it doesn't change when
It's
they're
predictable.
Yeah, it's predictable. Where their life is just embroiled in change at all times at those young age, when you're learning new skills every day and there's a new phenomena that you're seeing every day to come back to something familiar they like.
Yeah, absolutely.
I feel very similarly to that when, like you said, I don't always have the brain capacity to take in something new. It's nice to come back to something familiar. A caveat that I will add to this, though, is I do like watching reruns of shows that I like.
Yes.
I don't just like watching reruns because they're reruns.
That's fair. I watch a lot of Wheel of Fortune, and I'm probably not going to go back and watch the reruns if I've seen them. As the disclaimer there, I know the puzzles. It's fine. Sometimes I do. I like to, because I'll forget. So then I'll go back and be like, oh, I got it so fast. And I'm like, oh, no, I remember watching this now. So.
3 puzzles in, and you're like, this seems familiar.
I'm doing so good this round. Yeah, I completely agree. I don't just, want to watch a rerun for a rerun's sake. It's, shows that I feel comfortable, that I enjoy. I like hearing, it's always funny shows for me, so I like getting the laughs occasionally and being able to kind of split that time on my phone usually. So to have that on is really nice, but going back to what you had said about kids watching shows because they're predictable and they're comfortable, one of the things that we had read when we were first talking about that is that they're processing something new each time that they watch it. So it is comfortable and it is predictable, but it also allows their brain to expand just that little bit and find new things that are going on. So that's a really cool thing to see, and you can see adult brains still do it. But the boy is a big Monsters Inc. fan currently, and he's been watching that for, 1,000 months straight.
Feels like it.
But he's been, the whole time he'd make the joke. It was so cute when it first happened because he'd say, only watching. I'm saying the words, which is the cutest, first moment where he's like, I've made a quote, a reference, if you will. So to hear him say that for the first time was so cute. And just recently, he watched it through and goes, it's not only watching, it's always watching, not only. And it was so bittersweet to hear that in real time, to kind of have him have that realization, to watch him process that and take in that information and adjust his view on the film about that. I mean, I will still continue to say only watching.
Yeah, and now he'll correct us to say always watching when he used to correct us to say only watching.
I told him so many times. But it's really cute. And I mean, I think adults, we're all people, but adults are like that too. I mean, there are times where I watch a series 5 times through and I'm like, oh, I didn't notice that before.
Yeah.
So it's nice. I also fall asleep while I'm watching TV. So I just like to watch it back in case I've missed things because I was sleeping before.
I obviously play a lot of video games. If you don't know, now you know. And watching reruns allows me to kind of be present in my video game and do the things I need to do there, and also be present in a TV show or a piece of media, and laugh at all the jokes and whatever. When I know they're coming, I can stop what I'm doing for a second, and when I hear the lead up to one of my favorite jokes in a movie, I can just kind of pay attention, and then I'm back to the game. That's something that watching reruns really affords me, that if I was watching something new and trying to play video games, I would only be doing one of the things.
It's so funny that you say that you can be present in your video game and while watching something, because I do it so I'm not present in either thing. I'm not fully committed to just sitting here on my phone because that would be crazy, but I'm not committed to watching TV either. So it's funny that you're like, no, now I can do both, and I'm like, no, I'm doing neither, thank you.
I'm half doing neither of them.
Yes. Exactly. Awesome. Well, before we get to the next question, Wonders, don't forget to follow us on Spotify so you never miss a new question. And if you want the extra moments, the cut questions, the cozy chaos, and the memories, come find us on TikTok. We'd love to have you there. Keep wondering with us.
Awesome. Our next question is a fun one. I think you'll like it, as you do many of these questions. Have you ever won any kind of contest yourself?
I do like this question, and I like this question because I have an answer locked and loaded. And my favorite, I feel like I don't usually answer this specific question often in my life, so I feel like I get to tell this story a lot in my life, so that's interesting. I wonder how I'm getting there. I just like to bring it up.
You just insert it. Yeah.
So the contest that I won was not by skill or any sort of merit, but I won free chocolate milk for a year, which was the coolest thing I've ever done. There was a cereal box, back of the cereal box, it's win free chocolate milk for a year. And I remember being in college and I'm like, who in the world at this day and age is still entering cereal box contests? Who's doing it? So I just kind of like figured my odds were maybe pretty good. So I'm like, I'm gonna do all the things, I'm gonna fill out all the information. And that was so fun for me because in the mail I got on a printer piece of paper 8.5 by 11, and they're just like, you won free chocolate milk for a year, which was awesome. And they send you 52 coupons, so for each week of the year, but it was a $5 off coupon, so it would cover a gallon of chocolate milk, but I could also use it for all their other products and ice cream and white milk if you're into that, all the other fun stuff. But that was the coolest thing for me, and it was just me in college, so I was just drinking a lot of chocolate milk by myself. I mean, I had roommates, but like we can only drink so much chocolate milk. Yeah. By the end of the year I had a ton left over, so it was December, and I was just like scouting people who are shopping with like gallons of milk in their cart, and I'd just like slip them a coupon and be like, this one's on me. But by far the funnest little contest that I ever won by myself, and I'm so proud. Again, I did nothing at all other than fill out the information, but my favorite story to tell.
I'm super sad that we weren't together for that, because I could have definitely partaken in some chocolate milk.
It would have been nice to share that with kids, I think.
Yeah.
But I was just like, Fruit Loops, gotta make chocolate milk work, I guess.
Hey, chocolate milk with some cereal is exceptional.
Well, some cereal. There were cereals. There were
Yeah.
things that I was like, this shouldn't be chocolate milk. I'd be like making macaroni. I'm like, do I do it? No. I could also just spend it on white milk, and I chose not to.
We had soy milk one time. It was in the apartment. We had soy milk one time, and we made mac and cheese with it, and it like turned out to be sweet mac and cheese. Do you remember that?
Not even a little bit. Gross.
Yeah, it was. We were eating it, and we're like, this tastes weird. And then we like figured it out that it was a soy milk. I don't know if it was the
Why
only
would
thing.
we have had soy milk?
Because I am lactose intolerant, and I was trying to be good to my body. And
No.
Yeah.
Just suffer like the rest of us.
Yeah, but we made mac and cheese with soy milk one time, and it was the worst mac and cheese. It was like sweet and savory. It was would not recommend.
See? And
it
it's
was rough.
experiences like that I am like, don't substitute anything ever. If I am not following a recipe to a T, one, I have a complete meltdown. And I'm like, well, the whole thing's ruined. We're done here. Call it, cut it, whatever you need to do. We're not doing it. Because things like that happen. I have mac and cheese going to it thinking I'm eating mac and cheese and it's sweet. Yuck.
I am very much the person in the relationship to try to substitute things, because how would you know? How would you know? Like, what if,
I don't want to know. I want exactly the item that I've been given.
But what if it was exactly the item you've been given, but with just a little bit less lactose, so my tummy doesn't hurt as much?
No. I don't care about that part.
But now we know, and now we will never do it again.
Oh, gosh.
For me, my contest,
Significantly less cool, I'm sure.
it's very much less cool, but very much more skill.
Okay. Granted.
I have now won 2 Magic the Gathering pre-releases. Nerd alert.
What is... Okay, I'm so sorry. We've been married for so long. What is a pre-release? I don't get it.
That's super fair. That's very fair. So, and Magic the Gathering is a trading card game, obviously. Maybe not obviously. If you don't know, Magic the Gathering is a trading card game. I'm going to explain it as if you don't know anything.
Not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor. Definitely not a sponsor, but reach out if you want to be. It's a card game that releases new cards. Used to be quarterly. It's much more often now with some stuff that they're making decisions about that I don't super love. Whatever, doesn't matter. They release new cards. I'm going to go with quarterly, their old schedule. And they release on, let's just say, January 22nd or whatever. So the week before that, before the cards go to like your Walmarts and you can buy them at your card shops, whatever, the week before that you can go to your local gaming store and you can get a few packs, 6 packs of the set early, before release or pre-release,
yeah. New packs.
Yeah, of the new set that's coming out a week later. You go there, you get 6 packs, and then you build a deck out of the 6 packs that you open, and then you play other people who have also done that.
So you're spending money at these events?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I just thought my Friday nights were significantly freer.
No. Sadly, no. So yeah, you get to open the new set early, you get to play some of the game, and you get to, generally, if you do well, like having won, so you get 6 packs for playing. For buying it from me, it's 6 packs. Then for winning, I got an additional 4 packs to open up, and I got 4 or 5 promo packs, which is 3 cards, but they're all like rare cards. They're not just like in the normal packs. You've got 80% of them are just, you put them in the bin and you never think about them again. But the promo packs are all rare cards. But I've won 2 of those now. The first one I can't remember. It was around the time of a Monket if you play. That was a couple years ago now. A very, very fun set to do kind of a limited event with. But that one was a hard-fought victory. It was me and obviously one other guy who were undefeated going into the last round. We each had one win on the match, and it came down to the last turn. It was either I won or he won. And after looking at my hand for probably long enough that I could have gotten called for slow play, I saw the line and I did it and I won, and that was a really, really good feeling.
Okay, so sorry to interrupt. So these cards you haven't seen before. These are new to you.
They spoil them early. The company spoils them early, so you can kind of look at them online. And you can look at the whole set online, which is 250 cards. And then you can hope for things and wish for things, and then you'll never see that card at a pre-release.
I feel like I play a card game and it takes me ages to learn cards, let alone play with them well. Also, that you get called for slow play. Every board game, I feel like I'm sitting there reading cards and I'm like, oh god, I'm so sorry, because I can't like strategize steps ahead.
Well, you have like 40 or 50 minutes, depending on where you're playing, to finish 3 games. So one match is...
You're going to say answer. Do one turn. No. I have 50 minutes. This is quick counting.
You finish... It's best 2 out of 3. Yeah, 40 or 50 minutes.
Okay.
So there are some games that if you're losing, if you're getting to the end, like, you don't even finish that game. You're like, we need to just move on. Like, I don't have time to finish this game. I know it's probably not going to go my way. So you can just move on to the next one and give your opponent the win for that game of the match.
Crazy.
Yeah, but yeah, that's like the week before a pre-release, especially if I know I'm going to go to a pre-release. So 2 weeks before the set even comes out, I'm just scouring the spoilers for the new set to look at whatever.
When do you have the time?
Well, don't let my job hear this, but...
Could you imagine? Sorry, I always compare everything you say about your job to my job. And you just like kids are just like napping, and I'm just like reading cards. And, everybody sit down. I'll answer your reading questions in a minute.
But yeah, then the most recent set that just came out is coming out tomorrow. Lorwyn Eclipsed. I got to go to that pre-release, and I won that one. That was great. My favorite tribe in Magic is elves, and I got to play elves for that. The pre-release, I opened enough good elves to build a deck, and for them to carry me to the victory was a very, very good feeling, a very full circle feeling. But that's my contest that I've won. I've won 2 pre-releases now, and it's not a pro tour or anything, but it's something I can hang my hat on at least.
Well, congrats to you. Mm-hmm. I apologize for literally never once asking any questions about what you were doing over there.
It's so fine. It's A, not for everybody, and B, it doesn't matter to most people, but I'm proud of it, and I'm super stoked to be able to say I've won.
I love that. All right. Well, if that wraps up your question.
Yes, yeah. A long one there.
Our next one is, what do you think is worth waiting for?
This question is such an interesting one because I think, and I don't want to come off as like that kind of person, but for me, my answer is going to be family, specifically kids.
That was my answer. Now I'm going to look like I stole it.
Stealer alert. We have had this conversation at length. Obviously, before we even decided to have kids, we kind of had this conversation, whatever. I would be a very different parent at 18 or 20 or even 22 than I am at 30, 31. There are so many moments that would be so much harder for me to enjoy, like in just the chaos of it all, if I wasn't like conscious enough to be like, someday this isn't gonna be this way. He's gonna come home from high school, she's gonna come home from high school, and hopefully not, but they'll retreat into the room and I'll never see him. There's not going to be toys scattered about the floor. They're not going to be yanking at my shirt and be like, come play with me, come play with me. So those moments, I feel like at the 6th time that he's asked me to come play with him, and then as soon as I sit down, he runs off and does something else, which is just kid stuff. I feel like as an 18-year-old, 20-year-old, whatever, I would be like, that's it, I'm not going to do that again, because he's squandered all his opportunities. But now I really get to appreciate that.
Yeah, that's fair. My stepdad played one game with my brother and I growing up. And we were children, not as young as ours, but younger, and we'd forget to pick up our cards as kids do, but then we'd remember, and it conveniently would be like right before his turn, and then he'd think we were just like stealing his cards from him. And I don't think he has ever played a game with us ever since then. He was just like, nope, these guys are cheaters, and we're just
good riddance.
So
that reminds
and I think,
me,
age plays a big part of that.
That reminds me of the first time that we introduced the boy to Candyland, where we started out great. We probably got through about half of a game of Candyland where we were playing it as intended, and then he just kind of got bored and started moving the pieces around, which is a little bit defeating in the fact that we're a board game couple. I'm a board game person, and I want him to enjoy board games.
There are rules.
It's a little bit, but it's also, like you said, he's a kid. His attention span isn't quite there yet. If he just wants to put the double stacked gummy bears piece that he was on the spot on the board that has the double stacked gummy bears near it, like, let him, like, if I'm gonna get mad at him, then it's gonna drive him away from playing board games.
Absolutely. And I think that's a big part of my answer is when I was younger, I don't think I would have had the knowledge, well, because it took me 15,000 years to get through school, which I feel like is where I learned a lot of my early childhood stuff, but to see the developmental areas, the milestones that they hit, to have that knowledge as an adult now, to see in my kids as they grow and they're going through things, to identify those, to know developmentally, he's not ready to sit and have that attention span. He will be at some point, but to really see all those milestones kind of unfold, and to have that knowledge of it now, I think makes the wait worth it. Yeah. Because as a freshly young adult, or barely 20, and not to say that other people don't have that knowledge. I didn't at that time.
I would not have been a good parent, I don't think.
Yeah.
I would have been a much different parent, at least.
Yeah, for sure. I had other priorities. So I think, to be the age that we are now, to have the knowledge that we have now, for me, I think that wait was worth it.
Yep. I am so very grateful for you touching on what you were just talking about, the milestones and development. And you could still ask me after having 2 kids, what age a kid is supposed to be walking, or what age a kid is supposed to be talking, or when sitting up is all right, we need to start getting them ready for, I have zero clue. So when a thing comes up, behavior or a skill that one of the kids is trying or whatever, to be able to turn to you and be like, what's going on? And then for you to have that knowledge, the early childhood background, has done wonders for me, because my brain doesn't work quite right in a way that is like super great to like integrate with like children and how they act and how they learn and how they do, where like you need to be consistent with children. They push a boundary and see how far they can push you, and then you put up that boundary, and then they keep testing that boundary to see where that fence lies every time. And if
giving other variables.
Yeah, to like test it. For me, like if I told you that a stove is hot one time, you should know that the stove is hot. But then I'm using a different burner now. So then he comes up and he's like, hot? And I'm like, yeah, buddy, the stove is still hot. To not have you to fall back on, to be like, that's where we're at, that's what he's doing. Like you said, the variables, all that stuff. Again, my brain just doesn't work like that. So to have that knowledge and be able to input that into my current brain, how it works, and be like, he's doing these things, it makes it so much easier to grow with them and understand them and really help foster that so much. So I'm very grateful to you that you have that, because it's definitely not something I have even now after having 2 kids.
Well, it makes me think of my friends. We were catching up at a wedding, and I know one of them was like, oh, how is your kid? And he's like, oh, he's good, he's busy, whatever. He's like, oh, is he walking yet? And he's like, yeah, he's 2. And he's like, well, I don't know, like, because you're not around kids, you don't think about that. So like, yeah, I don't. They're all hip height. That's the same age to me, So it's a cool thing to see, and I still love reading about it, and often need reminders.
It's a wild ride, and for me, again, I don't think that that's true for everybody. I think that there are people that are more mature than me at 18, 20, 22.
Yeah. And I feel like you grow up a lot too. Yeah. You figure that out in the moment.
Yeah. When you have a kid, there's just stuff that you learn and that you wouldn't
for sure
think about before that, because it's just so foreign. Like, it's a different life.
Yeah. It really is. I remember walking through the store at one point after finally just finding out we were pregnant and being like, I unlocked a new area, because I never thought twice about the baby section. Because it was I never needed to. Yeah. I didn't have babies in my life, so I mean, it was like new thing unlocked, and that's a lot of parenting is. It's like, new level unlocked.
Yeah, it's definitely a fun wild ride, and for me, again, definitely something that I think is worth waiting for.
Yeah, I agree.
Alrighty. We'll wrap that question up, another long one. And we will ask, are you an organ donor? Why or why not?
Yes, absolutely. My answer to this was always yes. I've always been an organ donor, and my mindset for that was always like, well, I'm not using it. However, just recently, this last year, my cousin needed a liver, and that was a big thing for our family, and she had to get on the wait list and go through all the channels for that. And that was a really big moment for me to really kind of reassess. Like, I've always been like, whatever, like, sure. But to see that and experience that firsthand, to really, if you can, absolutely. Somebody out there definitely needs it. And happy to do so now. It's less of a whatever and more of an intentional, of course.
Yeah.
So that's where I stand on organ donating.
I'm very bad about this, and like, it's whatever. Have your feelings. That's very fair. I used to be like, not vehemently, I feel like that's too strong, but like every time it's like, nah, I'm trying to ruin everything in me, so it wouldn't even be worth anything after I'm gone.
Wild mentality.
So I was always not, and then like not recently, but like again 25. Once you start not being a
Raging lunatic.
silly person that doesn't have a fully developed brain and can see beyond their own nose.
That too.
Me specifically, not everybody. Then it was kind of just like, if it was convenient, if it was like a box that was near other boxes I was checking, I would check it. I don't know whether or not my current ID says I'm an organ donor, but yeah, after going through that recently and just growing up, becoming an adult and not a little silly guy, I think, I'm going to go out of my way to, whenever I need to renew my license, whatever, make sure that that box is checked, if it's convenient or not. I think that's very important.
I agree. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, that's, easy answer for me. Our next question kind of loops back to our previous one, but should parenting classes be mandatory for new parents?
That's, there's a whole bunch of caveats here, okay? I think that they should be mandatory for new parents. However, there needs to be so many things in place. Flexible schedules of classes. I think that they obviously need to be free. Nothing, if somebody forces you to do something, you should never have to pay for it.
That feels fair.
I don't know of any exceptions to that rule. If somebody is forcing you to do something, it's not a thing that you are going out of your way to do yourself. They should be the ones paying for it.
Yeah.
Full stop.
Like being a woman.
Yeah. I do think, and there should be, like with college, CLEP, I don't know if that's, like a widely known vernacular, but like to be able to test out of something, so you can like take the final exam of a class, before you take the class, and if you pass that final exam, you get credit for the class, and you move on. You don't have to spend a semester or two or whatever taking that class. I think that should also be present here.
Yeah, that feels fair. Because again, not that I'm an expert, but like if I had to spend how much money to go to college to get all of my early childhood education, I think I know what to do with a baby.
Yeah. But yeah, and like that's, again, there's a lot of caveats here, and I think that there is just a lot of things you don't know about parenting until you need to know it. And when you need to know it, you're in a situation where you already need to have that information, otherwise you need to wing it. And I feel like parenting classes would help so many people understand things. But again, it's got to be that super flexible. It can't be like, well, you got to take time off of work to make this class, blah, blah, blah. Online videos, something like that, and then be able to test out of it. If you already have the knowledge, you shouldn't have to sit through it. And it obviously needs to be free.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think, again, I learned a lot through my early childhood education career. And there's so much stuff that I wouldn't think about, and there's so much stuff that, again, I had to learn firsthand. And I still, because I had to learn a lot firsthand, still could not have been more prepared.
No.
I think that all of the information that would have been so nice, any information is so nice to have, especially for a new parent. And I think there's a lot of stuff that people don't think about that would be really nice to have.
Yeah.
The info. Even just like why you call or like age babies by months.
Yeah.
And that kind of stuff. To see what milestones they should be hitting by certain ages. Again, how to change diapers, that kind of basic stuff. I mean, I think is really good information for people to have. Again, I don't think you need to be taking like a 30,000 hour college course to take your baby home, but I definitely feel like there should be more access to the information, and I think a lot of it should be required. I think a lot of people wouldn't think about it unless they had to think about it, and I think that is important. I think we'd all be a little bit better as a society if we had a little more information.
Yeah, there's a book that my brother, your uncle, had given me, called Commando Dad Basic Training, How to Be an Elite Dad or Carer. Not a sponsor. If you want to sponsor us, reach out. There's so many things, and I am prior service, and it was written in the language of like a military manual. So that resonated with me very well. And again, I think that for this may be whatever, but I'm gonna say it. I think for a lot of men, that kind of like the like step by step, just boop 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 boop. There's not a lot of flair,
instructional kind of content.
Yeah, I feel like for a lot of men that resonates more than like listen to exactly how your baby's crying and hearing the difference. But it's
we talk all about the different types of cry. I can't tell you the difference of the cries.
But
I can tell you what my scaffolding things to try are. I don't know what that means. How did I speak, baby?
I definitely resonate a lot with that book. If you're going to be a first-time dad, I highly recommend you look for it anywhere. It did so much for me. I remember during our first pregnancy, when you would lay down and I was off that night, I would read that book to you while you were laying down to go to bed. For the boy to get used to my voice. I think that people say that you should read to your baby while they're in the womb and stuff like that, so I was doing that. And my voice is
I was asleep immediately.
Rather monotonous.
so it's okay for everybody.
Yeah.
You learned a lot.
And I learned a lot.
He got used to your voice, and I had a great sleep.
Yeah, it's a great book, and that was something that he handed it to me, and then one of our friends, they got pregnant with their first, and we had already kind of been through that book, so I handed it on to them, and what a cool kind of legacy we had. In the cover of the book, my brother wrote his name and the name of his first kid, and I think the year, and I wrote my name and the name of my first kid, and it would be cool to see if that kind of legacy continues down, and this Commando Dad book, the whole back of the front cover gets filled up with
first time dads and babies. Wow.
I think that that's a very cool thing. If you have a community around you that is kind of getting to that stage of life, I highly recommend you snag that book up. It's so informative, and it's written in a way for, again, in my opinion, I don't want to speak for everybody, but for men to understand, and it really resonated with me, so I'd really highly recommend that. Again, Commando Dad.
Love that. Yeah. That's really all I got on that one.
Awesome. What is the number one thing people are always asking your help with?
The first one that comes to mind that I would definitely say is probably just general like crafting help. If you need me to doodle something or make you I think my number one toxic trait is that you can present me with a craft and be like, I'd love to figure out how to do this. I immediately am like, oh, I could figure that out, which is not at all how crafting works, and the amount of times I get myself into a pickle because I was like, oof, this was over my skill set, is pretty often. But I can make a lot of things. I'm a pretty crafty person. And I'm sure I could figure it out.
There's been a lot of things that I've come to you with, and you're like, well, let's figure it out. And we do, and yeah, it's always been a fun. Exactly how we get it to work has been interesting and different every time. Sometimes it's smooth, sometimes it's not so much, but it's always been fun.
There's not a lot of things that I feel like I exude that much confidence in. I don't know what it is that, sure, you need me to put some paint on something, I'll figure it out.
Yeah, I think that mine, and this is kind of going to be a cop-out because it's my job. I work in maintenance at a production facility, so inherently the number one thing people ask my help with is fixing their broken stuff.
Yeah, which comes great handy around here when we bring our newborn home and then our oven breaks.
It's taught me a lot of just like, around the house handyman things. But yeah, again, kind of a cop-out answer, but yeah, at work, that's what I do, is I unbreak the things that you broke or the things that broke themselves. So I'm constantly getting asked for help with stuff like that at work.
I think that goes along with your degree in a very similar vein.
Yeah, degree in computer information systems, and then just like the level of troubleshooting.
Yeah.
That goes along with that. And then again with my job, I enjoy troubleshooting.
See, and again, one step goes wrong and I'm crying on the floor.
It's a fun little puzzle game that, like, with programming and getting to do programming in school for my degree, it was a fun little puzzle game of making something work, because you write out these lines and lines and lines of code, and then you go to compile it, and it's like, no, it's broken. Look at line 36. And then you read line 36 and you realize there's a colon instead of semicolon, or vice versa, or you forgot whatever. And then you fix that. And then it's like, oh, nope. Now look at line 153. There's another broken thing.
The only time I could get behind that was when I was creating my MySpace profile. So I was
You're
suddenly...
dating yourself.
I was suddenly a programmer in middle school, and that was as far as that skill ever got.
And troubleshooting too. I just had a job at work that I had never seen before. I never heard before. I didn't even know the thing that broke could break. It was my first time, like, again, there's just a piece of metal that it's a little plate that covers up a compartment. I knew there was a compartment in there. I knew that there was stuff in there that did things. But I was like tracing the problem, and I'm like, this is all working right. It's got to be something in this compartment. And for the first, maybe second time ever, I opened up that compartment, and I was like looking at stuff, and I'm like, this is the only thing that could be broken. So I like snagged one off of another machine. I put that one on, and it worked just fine. And I'm like, got it.
Throw the whole thing out.
The troubleshooting process is very fun. It took me longer than it probably should have, because I just didn't know, again, that was a part that could break. But we got there in the end, and that's all it worked. That's all that matters, is it's working at the end of your troubleshooting process. And I don't think there's much that feels better than going through a long troubleshooting process and then figuring out what was wrong.
No.
Especially without any assistance, like no Google, no nothing, no coworker help. It's just like racking my brain, following exactly what should be working and when. And yeah, it's so fun. I love it. I love it so much.
No, not for me. Awesome. Well, then, are you more talk and less action, or vice versa?
I don't know if I've said it yet here on the podcast, but I took this job at the company I'm currently working at, and one of my favorite things about it is that I can go a whole night and talk to one or two people. That's a great night, don't get me wrong. Generally I have to talk to more than that, but like, what a dream. when I can only have to talk to like one or two other people in my 12 hours that I'm working. But that being said, at work, generally, as you do when you're at work, unless you're looking at pre-release cards, you're doing work. You're doing actions. So I would say I'm very much more action and less talk. I'm not going to talk. I'm not going to look at a problem, go to whoever, and then tell them about the problem and how I'm going to fix it and blah blah blah, and then go and fix it. I'm just going to fix it and walk away. I'll probably tell you that I fixed it, so you know that's good. But it's just going to be like, oh, here's the problem, fix it, and move on with my life. I don't need to talk your ear off about how or why I did it.
That's fair. I suppose that, takes talk pretty literally. I think that in any instance, I would be talk. I talk a lot. However, when you're bringing it to something like work, where I am in charge of keeping tiny people alive, I make a million micro decisions in a single day. I mean, it is action, action, action. I can't just sit here and be like, well, theoretically, well, I can, and I do in the summer. But when we're, in the throes of it, it's go time. There's no time to sit around and gab about it. And I think that's an interesting question, because I'm not somebody who's also very hypothetical either. I don't want to sit around and talk about scenarios that I can't bring to fruition. Not very philosophical. So while I am a talkative person, I would say I'm generally more actionable, I think.
Yeah, that's very fair. Again, like you said, and I couldn't do it, but just all the micro decisions, like you said, you have to make in a second.
Oh yeah, the amount of times that I'm like, okay, here's what we're doing.
Yep.
Sometimes I start a sentence and I don't even know where it's going.
Yeah, it's definitely, I can see where you would say action, for sure. All right, next question. Have you ever given someone a handmade present?
Are you good at handmade? Is my favorite little thing to bring up. Yes, I am a crafty person. I make a lot of crafts. The amount of times that I'm like, all right, I'm drawing every single person in my family as a calendar surprise, guys, is so often. One year in college, I was like, oof, I can't do Christmas this year, I'll tell you that. And so instead, I got everybody a chocolate bar, and I made a Willy Wonka IOU a Christmas gift. And I put it in the chocolate bar, and I passed those out to everybody. Which, to be fair, my aunts and uncles like to bring up. They're like, there's no expiration date. I'll be waiting on that. So... Yes, to handmade a lot and often, and I like a handmade present. I think there's a lot of thought that goes into it, and other people might not feel the same. I expect most people are like, ugh, how cheap, but I like the personalization.
Yeah, I agree. I think that a handmade present almost always feels better than at a store, but unless there's something that you're wanting. From the store, it's always, in my opinion, better to make something. It comes from the heart. It's someone put time into that. That's a resource that you don't get back. You can almost always earn more money, but yeah, to put a time investment into something, and really make something from the heart, I think it means so much. And obviously, as a kid, you do all the school things, the turkey with your handprint, blah, blah, whatever. I don't know that I've given, as an adult, something, super duper meaningful handmade.
Okay, well, meaningful. I was going to say, we just made your parents those ornaments of your feet.
Yeah, that was pretty silly.
That was handmade. I spent a lot of time painting it, so it was pretty handmade to me. If it was huge.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't think that I have. I should do that more. Like you said, you did the calendars. You've done those, like the magnets before.
Oh yeah, I used to do magnets every year.
Those are just such a simple thing, but again, you put whoever name it was you were giving it to them and what year, so then they can look back every time that they're whatever on their fridge, and it's just like, oh, that's very nice. I should do more of that. I need to look into it, but
my mom is the queen of handmade.
Oh my gosh, yeah, your mom is really great about it.
She makes ornaments every year. Nope, scratch that, replace it. She makes snow globes every year, which are also technically ornaments. Yeah. You can hang them up, but they are personalized, and she makes them. And like, I know we just had our daughter this year, and so she made one of like her bassinet in the room with her name sign and like a little picture of our cat who passed this year. And I mean, so she'll do something like that, and I mean, she'll make 2 or 3 of them. I mean, like every year, and for everybody, and they're so tiny.
Yeah.
And I just don't know what she has the time. She's like, I can make 2 in a day, and I'm like, oh gosh.
And it's like the things aren't like abstractly a bassinet.
Yeah.
No, it's like the bassinet, but small.
No, she'll like send me like a text and be like, can you send me a picture of your brother's bedroom? Because I'm going to recreate his exact bed frame to have his cat lying on it for his... I mean, it's like on a popsicle stick. It's really intricate.
It's absolutely wild.
It is. And so I guess handmade came from her.
Cool. You definitely got that from her.
I love it. Awesome. Okay. Fun question. Have you ever eaten a whole entire tube of Pringles by yourself?
See, the better question is, have I ever opened a tube of Pringles and not finished it in one sitting? And the answer is probably no. Which is like gross to think about.
Yeah, that's fair. They have serving sizes on there for a reason.
Yeah, it's one tube.
I just watched a video too where they're like, this one burrito is 2 servings. One burrito, 1 serving. And it should be done like this. You're so right.
No, there's like, I feel like it's recently. I don't remember this like growing up, but I feel like there's a new flavor of Pringles every time we go to the grocery store.
There is. There's some that they're working at Pringles.
Yeah,
and I see them.
They're not just resting on their laurels.
Yeah.
Not a sponsor, by the way. Pringles
could be a sponsor.
Hit us up. This is the episode of sponsors, I guess. Sorry.
One night we talked about sponsors.
No, but like to try all the flavors, I really enjoy that. I think it's harder now that we're kind of doing this like healthy thing. Eating a little bit less.
I eat original Pringles every time. If I can choose every single time, it's original Pringles. I like other Pringle flavors. When I go to the store, I want original Pringles. No. They crushed it the first time.
No.
We're both the people keeping them in business.
I love to try out new things. They had the hot ones flavors, which is very fun for me. I watched that for a while.
Original.
The Mexican street corn.
Yeah, did you like that?
That's very good. I'm gonna keep probably buying that one.
Vito original.
That one was very good. Our barbecue was pretty good. I think the easier question to answer would be, have I ever opened a tube of Pringles and not sat down and ate it all right there? And I don't think that would be... I think it would be no. I think it's always just consume the whole tube. That's what it is.
That's crazy. I'm sure I have. I can eat most of the Pringles. I don't usually get through one. However, I get
the last 3 at the bottom.
Yeah,
You're like,
yeah.
kind of
There's
full.
like 4, and I'm like, someday I'm gonna be really excited. I have just that little bit, just a taste. No.
Yeah. I do really like that question, and I think it's a fun little.
Well, I like how they pose it like this, this crazy thing, this unfathomable thing of eating a whole tube of Pringles.
How dare you do this thing that I feel
It would be crazy if you answered yes to this question.
I feel like it'd be crazy if you answered no. But I think with that, we are going to move on to our final question of the evening. One that is a little bit heavier, as it should be, I think, for a final question. I think we leave you off with something to think about. What is something that you fear might change you?
Oh, that's not the question I thought was coming up. That's a great question. And I think, especially just getting older, not that you don't when you're younger, but I feel like we're getting to a point where we're facing more mortality in our lives. And I think that death is such a big one across the board. I think my parents going especially is going to be hard. I feel like that's just going to change a part of me as is. I hope I never have to lose one of my children. That's gonna F me up, if you will. It's just losing those people, I think, close in our lives. I mean, even just people that I have nearby to not have all the time is gonna be really hard. I mean, again, it doesn't have to change me into some complete different person, but it's gonna take a big chunk of me, and it's gonna be hard.
Yeah, and
and it's hard because it's inevitable.
Yeah,
and I can't live with that.
Yeah, those bits I think will take an insane amount of healing over a long period of time. That's not something that you can just kind of bounce back from. Yeah. And yeah, I agree. I think that will be tough. And yeah, I don't think anybody would be like the same person after that. But I think that my answer for this, something that I fear might change me, is society.
Ugh.
It is a wild time out there right now.
We're like 3 chapters away from Hunger Games.
There's such a lack of empathy in just going around right now. I feel like it's so easy to gamify everything when you just see it on a screen. What's the difference when there's a pseudo-military force occupying a space that you just see on a screen versus playing a Call of Duty game? Like, if you're not existing in it, seeing it firsthand, it's so easy for you to just be like, oh, that's not real. Again, like gamifying it, you can work yourself, if you want to, into that state of this doesn't matter because it's not happening to me. This doesn't matter because it's not in my community. And I hope that through all of this, I've always said, I will continue to say, A, make one person's day better every day, and you've lived a good life. And B, be 1% better tomorrow than you were today. And as long as both of those things are true and you're doing both of those things consistently, I think, again, you're living a good life, and it's a good kind of metric for me that society isn't changing me to be this kind of unempathetic robot looking at screens and thinking that everything's a video game, where I'm still caring about the people to my left and right and making sure that they're happy, making sure that they're kind of content with what they have going on in their life. If they need help, they can reach out. That's very important to me, and I never want to lose that bit.
That's not where I thought that answer was going. I definitely thought it was going to be like, it'd be like apocalypse movie where like you gotta adapt to survive.
No.
So that's I have that in my head built up for that answer.
It's,
so that was
we need to keep paying attention to our neighbors, to our people that are important to us. We need to keep them safe. We need to keep our community safe. We need to care about each other. I think that's the biggest thing that I can say right now is we need to look out for one another.
Yeah, I agree.
Without getting too thick in the weeds on it or anything, I think, care for your community. That's the biggest thing.
Absolutely.
However big or small that is.
Whew.
Yeah.
What a heavy ending.
Yeah, it was a bit of a heavier one, but again, I think that one is a good question to have. And I think it says a lot about us. So I'm really happy that we got to record it.
Yeah. Thanks. Thanks for sharing that with us.
Of course.
I love it. Well, then to finish up, we just want to say thank you for wandering beside us. May your night be soft, your questions light, and your path aglow until we meet again.